The evening air buzzed with the sound of passing cars and distant sirens, a typical night in the heart of the city. But for Officer Cheryl Harper, it was another opportunity to exercise her authority, a power she often wielded with bias and impunity. Cheryl, known for her aggressive demeanor, had developed a reputation within the force for targeting minorities. Her actions were whispered about in the precinct, but rarely questioned openly. Tonight, however, she would face a reckoning she could never have anticipated. As Cheryl cruised down Main Street, she noticed a sleek black car parked slightly askew in front of a small cafe. Inside, a poised and elegant black woman sipped her coffee, seemingly lost in thought. Something about her calm confidence unsettled Cheryl. With a smirk, Cheryl decided to investigate, her hand already on her radio as she prepared to assert her dominance. What she didn't know was that her next decision would unravel her career and expose the very prejudices she had tried so hard to hide. The woman in the car, Maya Turner, had no idea she was being watched. She was a state senator, newly elected, and one of the most influential voices for justice reform in the state. That evening, she was reviewing notes for an upcoming speech about police accountability, a topic close to her heart. Maya had fought tirelessly for change, inspired by her own experiences and the stories of countless others who had suffered under an unjust system. But tonight, the system was about to make her its next target. Cheryl pulled her squad car to a stop and stepped out, her boots clicking ominously against the pavement. She approached Maya's vehicle with calculated arrogance, shining her flashlight into the car window. Maya looked up, startled but composed. "License and registration," Cheryl demanded, her tone sharp and authoritative. Maya complied, handing over her documents without hesitation. "Is there a problem, officer?" she asked calmly. Cheryl scrutinized the papers, her eyes narrowing as she spotted Maya's last name. "Turner, huh? You're far from home, aren't you?" she sneered, implying that Maya didn't belong in the affluent neighborhood. Maya's expression hardened, but she kept her tone measured. "I wasn't aware that sitting in my car while drinking coffee was a crime." Cheryl's smirk deepened. "Step out of the vehicle, ma'am. Let's see if there's more to this than meets the eye." Maya stepped out, her movements deliberate, her posture unwavering. Cheryl began searching the car without permission, a blatant violation of protocol. Maya watched silently, her composure a stark contrast to Cheryl's hostility. But when Cheryl claimed to find a suspicious-looking bag in the back seat, a bag Maya had never seen before, her patience wore thin. "That's not mine," Maya said firmly, her voice cutting through the night air. "Oh, really?" Cheryl replied mockingly. "That's what they all say." Maya's calm exterior began to crack. "This is harassment, officer. You have no right to search my car, and you know it." Cheryl's grin faded, replaced by a flicker of irritation. "You're resisting, ma'am. Turn around. Hands behind your back." Maya stared at her in disbelief. "You're arresting me? On what grounds?" "Suspicion of possession," Cheryl snapped, pulling out her cuffs. As Cheryl placed Maya under arrest, a small crowd began to gather, their murmurs growing louder. Several people pulled out their phones, recording the incident. Cheryl ignored them, her focus solely on maintaining control of the situation. Maya, now seated in the back of the squad car, remained silent, her mind racing. At the precinct, Cheryl processed Maya with the same cold efficiency she used on all her detainees. She didn't bother to check Maya's background, assuming she was just another ordinary citizen. But as Maya sat in the holding cell, she reached for her phone, a privilege Cheryl had overlooked, and made a single call. Within minutes, the wheels of justice began to turn. Back at the precinct, Cheryl's commanding officer, Captain Daniels, burst into the room, his face pale. He held a piece of paper in his trembling hand. "Harper," he barked, "do you have any idea who you just arrested?" Cheryl glanced up, irritated by the interruption. "Just another troublemaker," she replied nonchalantly. Daniels slammed the paper onto her desk. "That troublemaker is Senator Maya Turner. A state senator, Harper. Do you realize what you've done?" Cheryl's smirk vanished. Her heart sank as she processed the captain's words. Panic set in, but she quickly masked it with defiance. "How was I supposed to know? She didn't look like a senator. Daniel's voice dropped to a dangerous tone. And what does a senator look like, Harper? You've just endangered this entire precinct with your reckless behavior. As the truth unfolded, the precinct was thrown into chaos. Maya's arrest made headlines within hours, the video footage captured by bystanders going viral. The public outcry was immediate and fierce, with protesters demanding Cheryl's dismissal and an investigation into her conduct. Maya, released shortly after the captain's intervention, stood before the press, her poise unshaken despite the ordeal. "This is not just about me," she declared. "This is about every person who has been targeted, harassed, and dehumanized by those sworn to protect us. This is why we need accountability in our justice system." Her words struck a chord, igniting a movement that extended far beyond her state. Cheryl, meanwhile, became the symbol of everything wrong with law enforcement. Her past cases were scrutinized, revealing a pattern of racial bias that could no longer be ignored. The consequences were swift and severe. She was suspended, her badge stripped away, and her reputation destroyed. For Maya, the ordeal was a painful reminder of the work still to be done, but it also strengthened her resolve. She used her platform to push for legislative reforms, ensuring that officers like Cheryl would face consequences for their actions. Her fight inspired others to join the cause, turning a moment of injustice into a catalyst for change. Cheryl, once a proud enforcer of the law, found herself on the receiving end of the very system she had abused. She was left to grapple with the consequences of her prejudice, her career in ruins, and her actions exposed for all to see. This story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of accountability and the dangers of unchecked power. In the end, justice prevailed, but only because someone was brave enough to stand against the system and demand change. Let this tale inspire us all to question, to speak out, and to strive for a world where fairness and equality are not just ideals but realities.